Hey everyone, Espionage here. Today I wanted to try doing a little story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs to the set with a little play and review. Hope everyone has some fun with it. Our story begins with Snow White, who lost her parents at a young age, so she had to live with her evil stepmother, the queen. She would spend her days away from the castle whenever possible, and she would befriend animals, and she enjoyed singing. And then who happens to show up? A charming prince, who I actually don't know his name, but the two of them meet. He is enamored by her singing, and I don't know if I can fall in love this quickly, but let's just say they had a nice day that they met each other. Meanwhile, Snow White's stepmother, unfortunately, I don't have a nicer outfit for her, as all we got is her costumed version in the set, but she is threatened by Snow White's beauty and sends Snow White and the huntsman into the forest for her to kill her. So the huntsman agrees to let Snow White go because he doesn't have the heart to kill her, and she runs off. She runs deeper into the forest and eventually comes upon a cottage. And she makes friends with the animals. Inside the cottage, she notices that it's very dirty, and so she takes it upon herself to clean. So she spends all her time cleaning that day, and as she's cleaning, she notices that there are 7 chairs and a large table. And the 7 chairs and table easily come out. As you can see here, she's perplexed as she continues to explore the house. So as she's cleaning the house, she gets to explore more of it. And one of the interesting things is these hinges here, right, which allow you to open up the cottage a bit for an interesting angle. The side roof can be opened, and here is where Snow White discovered that there were 7 beds. Each of the 7 beds is removable, and each of the dwarfs' names are on the headboards: Sleepy, Grumpy, Bashful, Doc, Happy, Sneezy, and Dopey. So there must be 7 dwarfs that live here, Snow White thought. But Snow White was so tired that she fell asleep in one of the beds that night. When our 7 dwarves returned from the mine that day, they found Snow White sleeping in one of their beds. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? Snow White was shocked. She came down to talk to the dwarves, and she asked, "May I stay here? And I will cook and clean while you go work in the mines." And the dwarves were happy to have her stay. So the deal was made. And so it went for several days like this. The dwarves went to the mine, and Snow White was left all to herself, except of course with her animal friends. Snow White would get good at cooking, and the stove has a lighting mechanism, and maybe sometimes she would play the piano. Or she may admire the gem collection. She would probably faint if she saw that spider in the attic. And we're now looking at the front of the cabin again. Because as much as the wicked stepmother felt that she was now the most beautiful in the land, she still checked her magic mirror and found out that Snow White was still alive. So she had to go out looking for her. She donned her disguise, and she had with her a poisonous apple. And she found the cottage where Snow White was living. And in her disguise, she knocked on the door, and out came Snow White, who had no idea that this was her evil stepmother. Her wicked stepmother offered her an apple. Snow White innocently takes a bite of the apple, falls over. Her evil stepmother departs. The dwarves arrive, and they are shocked about what they see. In the story, the dwarves pursue the queen, but for now, let's just go with the dwarves are shocked about Snow White, and they don't know what to do. So to preserve her, they keep her in a glass coffin. Unfortunately, Snow White doesn't wake up, no matter what they do. Then one day, the prince arrives, and he sees Snow White, and he is shocked about what he sees. The dwarves tell the prince that Snow White is under some sort of spell. And so the prince decides, I'm just gonna kiss her. Maybe a PG kiss. He gives her a little kiss, and Snow White awakens. Hooray! So the two of them get married. And I think they move into some sort of castle, but then they keep coming back to visit the dwarves. And everybody lives happily ever after. Except for the wicked stepmother who, well, you'll probably have to watch the movie to find out. Alright, so that's the end of our story. And let's see the cast. These are our 7 dwarves. Dopey, Sneezy, Bashful, Sleepy, Happy, Grumpy, and Da. And our evil queen in disguise, our prince, and finally Snow White. Alright, that concludes our combination of story, playing, and review. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.